right now, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I thought I can trim some microgreens because I have an entire tray of this 10-20 microgreens at home that I brought home the other day from the garden center. And I thought as I trim, I can also show you how to really work with the live microgreens over again. And as I trim, I also can talk about a little bit more about microgreens as well as comparing it with sprouts. A lot of people not sure or confused about what's the difference because they look so similar. Now, let's begin. So over here, just want to show you first, I have a 10-20 tray of the microgreens as the other day I brought home. 4 varieties. This one is a scarlet for real. It's a mustard microgreen. This one is a red cabbage, and you can see the stem is kind of purplish and reddish. This one is a mustard, and this one at the end is a watercress. So 4 different varieties, and you can tell that they are actually pretty tall. They're pretty tall, and I really have to cut them. Otherwise, then they're probably gonna start going not so great. So I'd like to harvest the microgreens at the peak. So once you cut them, they can be stored in a little container like that. And it can be kept in your fridge for up to 2 or even 3 weeks, depends on how often you use it. All right, let's get started. So first of all, let's talk about the difference of microgreens and the sprouts. Those are the microgreens. I also have a pack of sprouts here that I grabbed from the store. So you can see that it's packed inside. And if we just look at it, and they actually look similar, but not exactly the same. Because microgreens actually, they are grown in grow media, either soil or peat or any kind of the grow media. And the part that can be eaten is the leaves and the stem. So the root part in the soil or in the grow media is not edible, and normally we don't eat it. And when we cut microgreens and eat it, we cut it right above the roots. So only the parts that are harvested is edible. And on the other end, sprouts are like these. So sprouts, you can see that the entire part, you can see its little shell and a little seed. The entire part of the sprouts are edible. So that's one difference. And the second is microgreens, and they require quite a bit of the light and air ventilation to grow. While sprouts, they germinate in water. That also explains why sometimes sprouts can be very contaminated with bacteria, such as E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria, because those bacteria they thrive in a really humid, wet condition without a really good ventilation. But with microgreens require a lot of light, a lot of air ventilation to grow and to grow nice. So microgreens actually are less risky, less possibly being contaminated with a bacteria that requires and thrives in humid situation. So that's the second biggest difference. And the third big difference, which is most important, I think, is the nutrition value and the flavor, the texture, the taste between microgreens and the sprouts. So sprouts, normally they taste pretty plain and they don't pack a lot of flavor. A lot of times and people enjoying sprouts because of the crunch. They do add that just crispy and crunchy texture to your sandwiches or to anything that you put it on. However, microgreens are a lot more fun in terms of flavor and nutrition value, especially microgreens because they are vegetable baby greens. So when they're this little, the nutrition values are very, very concentrated or jam-packed in this little body. And there are studies showing that the microgreen actually contains up to 40 times of the nutrition as their matured crop. So if you have a radish microgreen, this much of the radish microgreen probably contains the same amount of the nutrition as a full-grown radish. And when it's full grown, it doesn't mean the nutrition or the vitamins or the antioxidants and just get more with a bigger body. It just gets spread out more across the entire mass of the plant. But same kind of the crop, when it's this little, the nutrition, the vitamins, antioxidants are very, very concentrated. So you don't need a whole lot of the microgreens and to reach your daily value of vitamin C, vitamin K, or vitamin A or B groups. You just need a little bit. So that's another great part about microgreens. So next, I'm just gonna cut away this big tray and put that in this container. This is actually a really big container, but I think I need it. So as we talk, I'm just gonna trim it. And this is my new pair of scissors that as my part of early Christmas gifts. So like I showed you before, you just grab onto the top and trim at the base. So I'm just laying it down in the container like that. And I'm not gonna use any dividers, but I'm just gonna push it gently with my finger, push it to the side as I do different kinds. So I trimmed on this watercress. Next, I'm gonna trim on the red cabbage to just give you a variety of the things. So I'm trimming some of the red cabbage. As you can tell, the color is very pretty. And a red cabbage actually doesn't have any spicy flavor. It's a mild kind of the microgreens. So if you ever wonder what the taste of this microgreen is without having had experience trying it before, the rule of thumb, it's really easy to tell is you're just thinking about what's the taste of the cabbage. Does cabbage taste spicy? No. So cabbage microgreens won't have a spiciness to it as well. On the other hand, if you're dealing with microgreens like mizuna or dealing with microgreens like mustard kind of the microgreens, then you ask yourself, does mustard taste spicy? Yes. So mustard family microgreens also has that spiciness. So it's, really easy because microgreens is just baby vegetables. So for baby vegetables, the natural flavor just comes through even stronger or even more obvious with the microgreens. So I'm just packing up this container. Once I pack it up, I will show you that the entire full tray of the container, and then I will keep this in the fridge for quite a long time, and every time when I need it, I just take it out and just do a pinch. Depends on what kind of dish I'm making. Maybe I will be making an appetizer for some friends and family that comes in town and visit. And I can put some microgreens on top of crackers, making a nice appetizer. Or sometimes if I'm making salad for dinner, and I will top the salad with some microgreens. So I just did a quick trim of the red cabbage and watercress, and I pack it in a container. So that's half, and I haven't even finished this tray. See, I just trimmed the corner. So that's really a big tray. And next, I'm gonna move on to the green wave mizuna. And I get so good at it, and I basically can take a handful and quickly just grab a handful of the microgreens. So this really makes your trimming a lot easier if you have the right tool or if you practice enough. So pack that down. And a lot of times that when we are so busy with our work, with our daily lives, that we don't get to always thinking about, how good we eat and how much vegetables that we eat for the day. and we just sometimes just have to get by and with whatever we have. So that's when microgreens really come really handy and easy, because once you have those trimmed, or if you buy the ones that already trimmed and packaged in a clamshell at our garden center, you don't need to worry, because they are so powerful and they packed with so much vitamins, especially vitamin A and vitamin K with kale microgreens. And all you need to do is just, when you make a sandwich for lunch, and do a pinch like this, do a pinch of the microgreens and put it on your salad. And just that one thing can really help to get to the, get over the hurdle of meeting your daily, daily value of however much of the vitamins you're supposed to have for the day. And they don't have a whole lot of fiber, because again, they are such a tiny little baby greens. They don't have a whole lot of fiber, but just by having the vitamins and the antioxidants and all those tiny little nutritions you can't see but truly do exist in those little baby greens, it's already a huge plus for busy people like us, day in and day out. So those are more cabbage. I'm packing it. I really like microgreens, and even the mustard kind for flavor. A lot of people might be worried that the mustard microgreen flavor is too strong or too spicy that you can't handle. I want to tell you that it's not that bad, because if you can handle a little taste of a mustard or horseradish, then you can handle it. And the spiciness doesn't really linger in your mouth. And after that, first few seconds of that kick, and then it goes away. It goes away, and it doesn't leave a bad taste in your mouth or get your tongue really fired up. And even kids, like my 7-year-old, he eats microgreens like nobody's business. And I put it in his sandwiches for lunch. And sometimes then I make a little appetizers, and on the weekends we watch TV and I make a little appetizer with the microgreens. And then, just feed your kids with the really fresh and nutritious things that looks cute, especially girls, and probably think microgreens are really cute. And that's definitely a plus to get your kids to eat more greens. All right, so I can't fit the last one. I trimmed 3/4, not quite. I trimmed this much. I just have 1/4 left of the scarlet for real, but I can't fit that in my container. So for the 3/4 I trimmed, I have this entire container, and I section out. This is watercress. This is red cabbage. This is the green wave mustard. So I have this huge container. It probably lasts me 2 weeks for sure. Depends on how much I use and how often I use. But I'm gonna finishing up trimming the last part, and I hope this video is useful and can provide some information and maybe help you to understand microgreens a little bit better. But if you have questions, feel free to leave us messages, and if you like my video, and subscribe to our channels, and we have upcoming episodes. Thank you, and bye. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say that something really important. A lot of people wondering if they should wash their microgreens or rinse their microgreens. The answer is no, you don't need to rinse them, you don't need to wash them, but if that makes you feel more comfortable, you certainly can. Because all the microgreens, as you can see, that they grown above the roots. So the part that we trim off are not touching any of the bottom media. So we're not touching the parts that are grown like at the base. And at Fridays, we don't use any chemicals, we don't use any sprays on top of the, the leaves. So they are super clean, and you just need to trim them, or the parts that we trimmed off in a clamshell, you can use directly. You don't need to rinse them if you don't want to, but again, if that mentally makes you feel more comfortable, just go for it. You can rinse it. However, with sprouts, you must wash them and rinse them because, again, like I said, the bacteria, the salmonella, the E. coli, and the listeria really are very easily to, contaminated the sprouts. So even on the packages, they say rinse and wash before you use. So that's the important part. Is a few years ago there was an outbreak of the alfalfa sprouts contaminated and got people sick. That's because, again, that bacteria thrives in those humid conditions, and if you don't rinse them before you eat them, the bacteria can really enter into your body and cause some serious illness. So you don't want that. Again, with microgreens, you don't need to wash, you don't need to rinse, you can eat it directly. With the sprouts, you definitely want to do so just for your own safety.